In this problem, we're asked to convert 92.0 microliters, so 3 sig figs, to these other metric units. Most of them are prefixed units of liter, milliliter, hectoliter, deciliter. There's only one that isn't a multiple or fraction of liter, and that is cc, centimeter cubed. But do remember that a centimeter cubed is equal to a milliliter. So once you get the answer for A, then you know what the answer to C is. Now the key to converting between prefixed units is to remember how to write the conversion factors between prefixed unit and the base unit. So if we take a quick look at Moodle here, in the voice lectures I do talk about how to do this. In the worksheets there's also practice on writing these conversion factors between prefixed and base units. And then here also I have a Word document where I've written out the metric conversion factors between prefixed and base units. And here it is right here. We can see how I've written them out for the metric prefixes from peta, capital P, all the way down to zepto, which is lowercase z. Now these are for between the prefixed units and the base unit of meter. However, what I strive to show you in this is that the way that the conversion factor is written is the same no matter what the base unit is. So I have 3 different base units that I use. This first one is length, where the base unit is meter. The second page is liter, which would be exactly what we're doing in this problem. And then the third one is time, where the base unit is second. So I'm just going to go up to liter because that's what we're using here. And we notice that it is always 1 of the prefixed unit is equal to 1. And then it's multiplied by the power of 10 that that prefix represents. So peta, capital P, represents 10 to the 15th. And then the base unit is on both sides. So all we're doing is translating what this prefix means on the other side of the equation with the power of 10. So you can use this as you're working through your homework and as you're working on your quiz to make sure that you are writing your conversion factors between prefixed unit and the base unit correctly. Now I only have 3 base units here, but this would also work for grams. For example, if a gram happened to be the base unit. Alright, so let's go back to our problem. Okay, so I'm choosing to work on just one of the problems. I'm going to do the conversion between 92.0 microliters and convert it to kiloliters. And the reason I'm only doing one is because all of the rest of them follow the same sort of pattern. So the first thing that I do is I write out what is given. And I'm given 92.0 microliters. And then I also want to identify what I want. I want the kiloliters. And if I look back at my problem, I can see that the 92.0 microliters is what I'm given. And for F, I'm trying to convert that to kiloliters. The next thing I want to do is I want to write out my conversion factors. And here is where I'm using that document that I made available in Moodle right here. And I want a conversion factor between microliters and liters because I'm given microliters, so I know I have to use microliters. And I'm also going to use the conversion factor between kiloliters and liters because I'm trying to get to kiloliters. And if I look back at my work, I've written out both of these conversion factors. So 1 microliter is 1 times 10 to the minus 6 liter, because micro means 10 to the minus 6. And 1 kiloliter is equal to 1 times 10 to the third liter, because kilo means 10 to the third. And I also want to do my double unit check. Whenever we write our given and our wanted, and we write out our conversion factors, we should have 2 of every single unit. So I have microliters here, I have microliters there, 2 microliters. I have liters here, I have liters here, 2 liters. I have kiloliters here, I have kiloliters here. That double unit check makes sure we have all the conversion factors that we need to get from our given to our wanted. After I have my conversion factors, the next thing I want to do is set up my railroad math. I always start with what I'm given, And since the given unit is microliters, I know that I have to have microliters down here in my denominator, so it'll cancel out. I only have one conversion factor that has microliters. 1 microliters goes in the denominator, and the other half of that conversion factor goes in the numerator. So microliter divided by microliter cancels out. So as I'm doing my railroad math, I make sure that these cancel out because it's really easy to write the wrong unit in the wrong place. Now the unit that I have here is liter. It's not what I want, so I know I have to keep on going to cancel liter out. I want, since I have liter up here in the numerator, I want liter down here in the denominator. Here's my other conversion factor, and this half of the conversion factor is the side that contains the unit that I want to cancel out, so I put the whole of that side of the equation down here. 1 times 10 to the third liter goes down in my denominator. So as soon as I put that down there, I want to put the other side of my conversion factor in my numerator, 1 kiloliter. And before I go any further, I'm going to make sure that I wrote it incorrectly, and then my liters cancel out, and they do. So every unit has canceled out except kiloliter. Now, as we do our railroad math, most students find it most useful to just multiply everything in the numerator, multiply everything in the denominator, and then once you get an answer for each, you divide the denominator into the numerator. So that's what I've done here. And as I've done my math, I have not kept my significant figures just because my calculator doesn't keep track of those. So 92.0 times 1 times 10 to the negative 6 will give me an answer of 9.2 times 10 to the minus 5. And down here, 1 multiplied by 1 times 10 to the 3 gives me 1 times 10 to the minus 3. And if I divide 10 to the third, if I divide 1 times 10 to the third into 9.2 times 10 to the minus 5, my calculator will tell me 9.2 times 10 to the minus 8. But I need to be careful about my significant figures. My original value had 3 significant figures, so I want to make sure that my final answer also has 3 significant figures. So I'm going to include that 0, even though my calculator will not express that in its display. So all of the other problems are going to follow the exact same format. If we go back to the problem, we'll see that these are, as I said, prefixed units. So every single one of these problems is going to need 2 conversion factors. The conversion factor, here, let me get it up. The conversion factor between microliter and liter to convert from the given microliters, and then the conversion factor between the prefixed unit and liter of what you're trying to get to. So once you write these 2 conversions down, you'll be able to set up your railroad math so that the unwanted units cancel out and you get the unit that you want in the end.